We just came back from a 14-day cruise on board the Costa Luminosa, and today we're going to be giving you a complete review of our cruise. As usual, we're going to assign a score from 1 to 5 anchors for each aspect of our cruise.
Stay tuned.
Hi everyone, I'm Rick.
And I'm Andrea, and today we will review our 14-day cruise to the Canary Islands. But first, if you like Traveler del Video, now is a great time to the subscribe button down below so you'll never miss any future video.
Great advice.
Oh, thank you.
We always say that, actually.
Absolutely. So, let's start our Costa Luminosa cruise review from boarding. With the Italian cruise health protocol, we had an assigned boarding time. We had to be at the pier at 10:30 sharp. Right after we walked into the terminal, we got our document checked, and then they sent us to a station for our antigenic COVID test. After the test, we walked to the check-in agent that did check our document and make sure everything's fine. And after checking this, we sat down in a waiting area for about 10 minutes. After about 10 minutes, a Costa agent told us that our tests were negative and we could proceed on board.
And there we have it. We are both negative.
And off to the ship.
Off to the ship. Let's go.
The process was really efficient and quick. And by 11 a.m., can you believe it, we were in our cabin.
Yep.
As we said, we were probably among the first passengers to walk on board.
And you know the funny thing is that this is not the first time that this has happened.
Absolutely. So for this reason, I think the Costa deserves a 5 anchor out of 5 for boarding procedure. We're like super efficient. What's your vote, Rick?
Yeah, this has got to be the easiest boarding I've ever done. And for that, guys, 5 out of 5. All right, so the next topic on our Costa Luminosa cruise review, well, it's the ship itself. The Costa Luminosa is really a great ship. It's built by Fincantieri and it was launched in 2008. It's 293 meters long and has a capacity of 2,826 passengers at maximum capacity and 1,050 crew members. This ship is actually in great condition. Actually, we were told that the ship was just in dry dock recently, and it shows. Inside the ship, it feels very well laid out, with a nice atrium that has panoramic elevators. By the way, if you want to know more about the ship, here's a virtual tour that we did. Alright, so the ship decor is the usual Costa style. It's colorful and cheerful, and though in some areas it feels a little outdated and maybe even a little borderline kitschy. Maybe it's for certain, maybe it's to appeal to a wider audience. Now, on this trip, we sailed through some pretty rough seas, and I have to say, the ship handled it really well, kept the passengers comfortable, as comfortable as they could be, right?
Exactly.
Overall, the ship was nice and updated in many areas. However, there are some areas that could still use a little bit of work. But, you know, as I said, it was very comfortable, and for this reason, I believe it deserves a 4 out of 5 anchors. Andrea, what's your vote?
I also like this ship. The decor could be improved a little bit, maybe brought to the next century. And the fact that it was really stable, even through rough sea, I think it deserved 5 out of 5 for this reason. That was actually quite good. Next time we will review of the Costa Luminosa Cruise is the Itinerary. Our cruise was a 14 days round trip from Genoa, Italy to the Canary Islands and Madeira Island. The first 2 ports of call were Marseille and Barcelona to board more passengers. After Barcelona, we had a day and a half at sea before we reached Lisbon, Portugal, where we stayed overnight. We then had another sea day before reaching the island of Lanzarote in the Canary Islands. Our next stop was Tenerife Island in the Canary Island, and then we sailed to the Portuguese island of Madeira. From there, we had 2 more sea days to our next port of call, Valencia, Spain. The night before reaching Valencia, the captain announced that due to really bad weather near Valencia, we would change our itinerary and stop in Mallorca instead of Valencia. We had 1 last sea day before reaching our final destination of Genova, Italy. The itinerary was good, but we believe that it could be improved. In fact, it would be much better to spend a couple extra days in the Canary Islands rather than Lisbon, for example.
Yeah, exactly.
We think that the passenger that picked this particular itinerary do so to visit the Canary Island and the warm and sunny weather. It would be better then to stay there longer and maybe visit 1 extra island than visit a cooler city like Lisbon. I mean, Lisbon is pretty, but it's not warm at this time of the year. For this reason, my vote is a 4 out of 5 anchor. So what's your score, Rick?
Yeah, I feel the same way. I know the ship had to pick up passengers from Barcelona and Marseille, and that's fine. But we picked this cruise as a Canary Islands cruise, and this was, well, a lot less. My vote for the itinerary on our Costa Luminosa cruise is just a 3 out of 5 in this case, because I think we could have skipped Valencia or Mallorca and the second, or even the 2 nights in Lisbon. Moving on to our next topic for the Costa Luminosa cruise review is the cabin itself. Our balcony cabin on board the Costa Luminosa was located on deck 7 towards the front of the ship. Overall, the cabin was pretty identical to the other Costa cabins we've had so far. And like we mentioned in our last Costa review video, the cabin would benefit from a decor update. The only major pleasant surprise in the cabin was the 4 USB ports, I've never seen them before, available on the nightstand to charge all of our electronics. And by the way, here's a link for our Costa Luminosa ship tour where you can see all about the cabin. For me, the cabin was okay, and I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5, mostly because the balcony was quite wide and the USB ports made quite a big difference. Andrea, what's your vote?
I think you're right, Rick. The cabin was good, but it would improve with a decor change. And my vote is also a 4 out of 5. Yeah, the bathroom is a bit outdated.
Yeah, and that sofa.
That sofa, yeah, got to go. After reviewing the cabin, we will move to service. Service on board the Costa Luminosa was particularly good.
Yeah.
Everyone was friendly and very well trained. The staff seemed happy, really happy, and in a very good spirit.
Yeah.
In particular, our waiter in the main dining room was unbelievable. One of the best waiter we ever had, period. In our 27 cruise was probably the best waiter.
That's right, and if you're watching, hi.
Hi there. Also, the cabin steward was quite good and very efficient. The bar staff was always very good, quick, and well trained. Other than very few exceptions, the service on board the Costa Luminosa was top quality. So, for this reason, I think a 5 out of 5 is well deserved. What's your vote, Dirk?
Yeah, I have to say, in general, everyone was happy. They were happy to help out. And without a doubt, that's something that came right from the top, right?
Yeah.
So I would give it also a 5 out of 5.
You can totally tell that the top management was really
That's
good.
Right. You know, if your manager is not good to you, then you're not going to have a good time, right? So,
cascade down.
Yeah. So moving on to our next topic, this is a good one, is cleanliness. All right, so the Costa Luminosa, like all of the ships we've been on in the last year and a half, is incredibly clean. Every single inch is constantly scrubbed and scrubbed some more. We always made the joke that we could even eat off of the floor. We've never seen so much cleaning on board a ship. We had our balcony washed 4 times during the cruise. We've never had this on any past cruise, and it made us feel incredibly safe. The COVID protocols were also still in place during our cruise, even though I don't think they were as strict about it as they were in previous cruises. And on this topic, we had a funny story happening with the temperature checking machines. So after a couple of days, the machines, they stopped working. And we just decided, yeah, whatever, who cares, right? Well, fast forward a week, and we received a nice little letter reminding us to go and have our temperature checked.
Right away.
No big deal, but we found it a little bit funny. Another thing that was, quite strange is the fact that we were, able to walk around the ship, with just regular masks, but in the theater, we had to use the N95, or as they call it here in Europe, they call it the FFP2. That's kind of bizarre.
Strange, right?
And by the way, if you think that's bizarre, stay tuned to the end of this video, because we're going to talk about other bizarre things that we saw on this cruise, and they are really strange. After having said that, there's no doubt that for cleanliness, my vote is a solid 5 out of 5. Andrea, what is your vote?
Well, my vote for cleanliness is a 5 out of 5 as well. I mean, I never seen that much cleanliness in one ship.
Yeah.
I mean, they were cleaning the chandelier every day.
That's right.
Strange. And scrubbing the carpet. And now, let's review one of my favorite topic. You guessed it, the food. As we mentioned in previous Costa Cruise review, food on Costa is extremely good. I mean, really good.
Yeah.
Portions are small, but they're meant to have 4 courses or more.
Right.
The presentation is Michelin star perfect. Every dish is seasoned perfectly. Mm-hmm. The selection on the menu is always very excellent. Yeah. You will always have a selection of appetizer, 1 seafood, 1 meat, and 1 vegetarian. After that, you will find the primi, which is usually a pasta dish, and again, you will find a seafood one, a meat pasta, and a vegetarian.
I didn't even notice that,
It's always there. On top of that, you'll often have a soup option. Mm-hmm. Then you'll find the secondi, or the main. And again, you can choose from a seafood, a meat, and a vegetarian. And on top of that, you'll find the destination dish, designed by one of the 3 Michelin star chefs that partner with Costa.
Mm-hmm. And that one I did notice.
Yep. If those selections weren't enough for you, there is a section in the menu that is called the Great Classic, where you can find a selection of dishes that are always available lunch and dinner. Mm-hmm. But wait, there's more. If you really can find anything you like in those options, you can check the Squawk menu, the Kids and Teen menu, and you have to scroll all the way down at the bottom of the menu. Right. And there you can pick between dishes like chicken nuggets, burgers, fries, tomato pasta, and more. So, there's a lot to choose of, but it doesn't end there. Yeah. There's an entire section of gourmet dishes available for a fee that includes caviar, lobster pasta, lobster and prawns, tomahawk steak, and so on. So there's something for everyone.
And of course, you cannot forget about the desserts. On Costa, we had probably some of the best desserts at sea ever. The selection, though, is usually limited to just 2 to 3 choices, but they are usually unbelievable. And again, perfectly presented, tasty, and very innovative. Of course, if you're not in the mood for desserts, you can always pick from a selection of cheeses, or you can have both. One thing, though, we really have to mention, that with a selection like this, it's really, it's unlikely that you're going to feel like going to one of the specialty restaurants. On the Costa Luminosa, there's actually 3 specialty restaurants, and one is a sushi bar called Sushino, and in our 2 weeks, we never really saw anybody there, but okay. The second specialty restaurant is called Archipelago, and it's a new concept on Costa. So there's 3 world-famous Michelin star chefs, and they present a tasting menu of 5 courses presented with wine for a flat fee. I'm sure the food is good, but we didn't go because there's something really, really bizarre about this restaurant. It's just crazy, but I'm not going to tell you what it is right now. I'm going to tell you about it a little later on when we talk about the other strange things on board the Costa Luminosa.
The last specialty restaurant is the pizzeria. This is a section of the buffet that is converted to a pizza place at night. We had pizza on Costa before, it is good, but we did not feel having pizza on this particular cruise. Apparently the pizza place was incredibly busy very late at night after people finished dancing at the bars. But usually by then we
You know what it is? I think it's because we couldn't get our waiter in the pizza place. Because it's in the buffet. I think that's what it is.
Probably. And last, it is a burger grill that serves street food at night for a small fee. Again, we did not try this either.
No, we were in bed early.
Yeah, we were in bed early. As we mentioned in previous video about Costa, the buffet is open only for breakfast and lunch, not for dinner.
Yeah.
We're not sure why, but that's the policy on Costa. It's kind of strange. So after this very long review, you'll probably guess that my vote is a 5 out of 5 anchor, just because I can give them a 6 out of 5. It's unbelievable. What's your vote, Rick?
Yeah, I feel exactly the same. The food on board Costa is always amazing. But one thing that Andrea didn't mention is the breakfast. Now, the food on Costa, it's very Italian, and Italian breakfast is not bacon and eggs. But I was shocked because one day I asked, for over easy eggs with bacon and hash browns, and they were perfect. This is a huge plus for me. So for me, I also give Costa a 6 out of 5. And now we move on to our next topic on our Costa Luminosa Cruise review. It's the drinks and the drinking packages. Costa has had some really good and affordable drinking packages, especially if you buy the all-inclusive drinking package with your booking or at the same time as your booking. Our package was called the My Drinks package, and this is the basic package and includes pretty much everything that we need. In fact, it included a selection of 3 white wines, 3 red wines, 1 rosé, and a prosecco that you could choose from.
But nobody tells you that.
No, they don't. No, they just want to give you the one that they have. Also includes most cocktail spirits, dessert wines, beer, digestives like grappa and scotch and rum, and of course it also includes espresso and cappuccino, which just makes it worth it just on its own for us. Not to mention the specialty coffees and teas. On top of that, it included 1/2 liter bottle of water per person per day at the bars. At the restaurant, though, still and sparkling water is always included. Now, there's an upgrade that's available that includes more premium wines and spirits, but for us, the basic one was more than enough. Now, for those who are under 18, there's non-alcoholic beverage packages available. So, we think the drinking package is a really good deal. And for that, my vote is a solid 5 out of 5. Andrea, what do you think?
For me, the fact that I can have as many espresso and cappuccino as I wanted during the day made the package perfect. And I do too give a 5 out of 5 for the drinking package. Next, on our review of the Costa Luminosa, we have the Costa Club. The Costa Club is the Costa loyalty program. Passengers have to sign up for it. It is not automatic like it is in many other cruise lines.
Or in other countries.
Or in other countries. I don't know, maybe it's an Italian thing. When you sign up, the perks are quite good. First of all, there are a lot of great discounts available on board if you are a member. For example, our huge tomahawk steak was 20 euros instead of 40 because we are a member of the Costa Club. Also, there is a Costa Club party during the cruise. Unfortunately, the party at the moment is a bit lame due to the COVID protocols. Also, once you reach the highest tier of the program, like us, the perks are quite nice. Like a free bag of laundry per person per trip. A dedicated restaurant, and 75 euro on-board spending. So,
enough for a massage.
And a bottle of champagne in your cabin.
That's right.
So I think that I will give out a 5 out of 5 at the Costa Club because it's a good program and it's actually quite simple. What's your vote, Rick?
Yeah, so thinking about the Costa Club, I would say that it's a very good program, and I cannot find another program better. There's things about it that I don't really like, but I have to give it a 5 out of 5. Now, let's talk about another aspect of our Costa Luminosa cruise review, and let's talk about the bars.
Okay.
On board the Costa Luminosa, the bars are pretty identical to any other Costa cruise bar. Now, service was fine, usually, even though in one particular bar, you remember, I had trouble getting the white wine I liked. I wanted the Trebbiano, and Trebbiano was included in the package. We always had it at dinner. But as it turns out, I think our bartender was a little lazy and didn't want to go to the back of the ship to get it. And he kept telling me that, they don't have that kind of wine at that bar, and I knew it was untrue. Well, one night, I saw the food and beverage manager at the bar, and I asked him about that particular wine and if I could get it at that bar. And he says, "Of course you can have it. Just ask. It's part of your package." And since then, guess what? I didn't have any problem finding it at any of the bars.
So was a bottle there for you every night?
I think they put my name on it and a picture. Look, we liked that particular bar because the piano bar singer was good. Hello. And we loved listening to her performing. Now, the service at the pool bars, well, they were also excellent, friendly, and amazing. And for this reason, I would give the bars a solid 4 out of 5 on Costa Luminosa. Andrea, what do you think?
Overall, I found the bar pretty adequate for the ship. I did not have any problem with the service. I also give them a 4 out of 5. Mm-hmm. I think there's room for improvement. Overall, they're good. Moving to the next topic on our Costa Luminosa cruise review, we have entertainment. I have to be brutally honest, the entertainment team on the cruise was mediocre at best. We don't know if it was the team or the passengers' fault, but we found that it was really lame. The entertainment team was not engaging at all. No. They were playing the same game over and over again by the pool area. There was a little or no attempt of involving passengers and making them participate, like did last summer or even the cruise in November. Yeah. It seemed that the only activity that was quite busy was dance class during the day. Other than that, there was not much going on, which was quite unfortunate because considering we had several sea days in really bad weather, there was nothing going on. The only 2 events that were more successful were the Voice at Sea and the White Party. That was quite busy and quite good.
They were quite good. Yeah, it makes me think, that Sexy Legs party that we had in the summertime.
That was so much fun. For those reasons, I think my vote for entertainment is a 2 out of 5. Sorry, Costa Luminosa, you missed the mark there. What's your vote, Rick?
Yeah, from an entertainment point of view, well, I think I was only entertained when I had a glass of wine in my hand. So, yeah, my vote is only a 1 anchor. Sorry, guys. All right, now we continue with our Costa Luminosa cruise review, and we're going to be talking about the other side of the entertainment, the shows. The shows on the Costa Luminosa were surprisingly better than we experienced on our previous cruise in November. By the way, if you want to see our Costa Diadema cruise review, check out this link. So there was a better variety of shows, less acrobatics, and more singing and dancing performances. We also had a professional flamenco dance team come on board while we were in Spain, which was quite good. Unfortunately, I didn't get to go. I was so tired that day.
But it was awesome.
Yeah. And for a couple of nights, there was also some different singers. But the dance shows were a lot more fun with a lot of retro music. So overall, it was a lot more enjoyable watching these shows compared to our last Costa cruises. And for this reason, my vote is a solid 4 out of 4. No, it's a solid 4 out of 5 for the shows. Andrea, what is your vote?
I did enjoy this show on this particular sailing. I thought there were more variety, was much better, and They were way less repetitive than our previous cruise.
True.
So I will give you 4 out of 5 as well. Now we'll talk about another aspect of our Costa Luminosa cruise review, the casino. The casino on the Costa Luminosa is quite big. It has a very good selection of table and a slot. Unfortunately, on this particular cruise was a total ghost town.
It was like nobody plays at the casino.
Ever. We rarely saw anybody there, like rarely. I think passengers on this particular journey were not interested on gambling at all.
No.
Seriously, nobody was there ever.
No.
And there was so many sea days, the casino should have been packed all the time.
And do you remember that casino manager?
Yeah, she was walking around the bar trying to selling lottery ticket, and we bought a few of those just because we felt bad. She was telling us that they were thinking about closing at 10 p.m. instead of midnight because they was always dead, and they were like being there, like twisting their thumbs. Yeah. Oh well, different crowds like different things. Due to the fact that we did not use the casino and we can only vote the location and the ambience, that then I think that it was more than adequate for this ship. So it's a 4 out of 5, and hopefully next cruise the casino is going to be more fun. What's the vote, Rick?
Yeah, hopefully we win some money too,
Hopefully.
right? But part of the fun is being with other people, right? So like you, my vote is going to be a 4 out of 5 anchors as well. And now let's review one of my favorite places on the Costa Luminosa. If you guessed it, the spa. Well, folks, for those of you that follows our videos, you know that the spa is my natural habitat. I love the spa. And on this ship, we were fortunate enough to be able to book the Area Benessere, or the Wellness Center, for the entire cruise for only just a little bit more than 10 euros a day, which was a fantastic deal. The area is great, has a huge jacuzzi, a dry sauna, warm, like a relaxing room with heated chairs, a hot room with heated chairs, and a regular relaxing room, and a tea room.
I know.
And stay tuned, because there was something really bizarre that went along here too at the spa. Something no one could really explain. So I'm going to tell you a little later in this video, along with the other quirky things that we found. But, okay, despite that, Andrea and I, we spent a ton of time there, and we made some friends too. The area is spacious, with a lot of large and bright windows and a ton of natural light. Unfortunately, the water temperature in the jacuzzi was not as warm as we would have hoped. And actually, I think they keep it a little cooler so that people can leave quickly. But it was still okay, right?
It was still fun.
Yeah. Now, even on this sailing, in which we had a lot of sea days and the weather was not great, this area of the ship was amazing. I also had 2 massages, and they were wonderful. The massage therapist was amazing and definitely worth every penny. Now, guys, I'm going to give you a tip here. If you're wanting a massage and you want to save a little bit of money, wait for this 60-minute deal that cost 80 euros. So sometimes they call it the 20-20-20 or top to toe. Anyway, if they don't have it right away, just ask the spa manager. They can give it to you. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But I waited and I ended up booking 2 of them. But for this reason, I'm going to give the spa a solid 5 out of 5. Andrea, what do you think?
I really did enjoy the area, as you said. With so many sea days, it was the perfect place to relax and rest. Unfortunately, the water in the jacuzzi was not my optimal temperature, but still quite pleasant. So I do give a 5 out of 5 for the spa. I really liked going there.
Yeah, totally agree.
Now let's move on with our review on Costa Luminosa with the excursions. Okay, so due to the COVID health protocol, we were still not able to go out on our own, but we had to use the cruise line excursion to leave the ship.
Yeah.
Now, the experience with the excursion team was a little disorganized at best. A couple of excursions that I booked in advance were cancelled, and when I booked something else, on board, the ticket did not arrive in our cabin.
Yeah, we had to call and call and call.
Call several times to get my tickets. And one time I had to go downstairs and complain because the ticket wasn't there. On a boat excursion in Lanzarote, they did not warn anyone that the excursion was going to be in English only. For us, it was not a problem, but there were Germans, French people that on board, they were not able to understand the tour. And they were very, very upset and mad.
Yeah, well, they bought a tour in German and they had to listen to English and they didn't understand.
Anything so. For some excursion, the gathering place was at the theater with huge crowd gathering in tight space. Other times outside. So the health protocols were supposed to prevent gatherings, so it was very strange. Anyways, lots of people were sent to the wrong bus, and we had to wait in port for people to dismount the bus and get on the right bus. So it was a chaos. So the excursion was a chaos. The excursion themselves were actually quite fun and very interesting, and we had lots of fun. It was just the organization that was really bad. So for this reason, I give the excursion a 2 out of 5, just because we had lots of fun in the excursion themselves. But boy, the team is not organized.
No.
So what's your vote, Rick?
Yeah, sorry guys. For me, the excursions, look, I want to give it a big 0. Like 0. I want to give it a negative number. But here's the thing. Like Andrea said, on some of the excursions, we had a pretty amazing time. Remember those Chistinos in Madeira?
Oh, so much fun.
It was hilarious. Going down the hill like that, and other excursions, they were okay. But the question is, do we credit the cruise lines for those adventures? Whether they're good or bad? I don't know. The cruise lines are the ones who organized them. But the saying, you're only as strong as the weakest link. And as a customer, the thing you remember the most about a business is bad service. So I conflicted. All right, so I'm going to give it also a 2 and move on. Next topic of our Costa Luminosa Cruise review is the stores. So the stores on the Costa Luminosa are located on deck 3 in what they call the Galleria. There was a clothing store, a duty-free store, and a gift store. There was also, the Costa merchandise store as well. Overall, the selection was adequate for the size of the ship, right? We didn't buy much other than a gift for your mom. So from that point of view, it did the job, and we got a good price. Unfortunately, on this ship, like other Costa ships we experienced, the selection of toiletries is really, really limited and can be a problem if you forget something at home because you weren't able to buy it in port. We weren't allowed to go to a store. So for that reason, I'm giving the stores a 4 out of 5 because the selection of toiletries was really limited. Andrea, what's your take on this?
I think you're right, Rick. A 4 out of 5 is the right vote. We were particularly careful packing everything we needed and more because we knew that you cannot go outside the import by ourselves and buy stuff, and the selection on the ship is terrible. Well, let's talk about our next topic on the cruise review, the internet on board. Costa Cruises doesn't have an unlimited internet package as they offer many other cruise lines, which is very strange. They only offer unlimited for social media or WhatsApp. Other than that, you have to buy a full package. On the Costa, you have to buy gigabytes like you do on your cell phone plan. So I had to buy 1 gigabyte for 40 euros, while Rick was paying per minute.
I thought for sure I would do better.
No, at the end we spent the same amount of time, which I think is very pricey. 40 euros for 1 gig. Nowadays, Costa competitors in the Mediterranean all offer an unlimited package for less than 100 euros, which we think would be fair. The connection speed was decent. I was able to video chat with my parents with no problems. It was always stable. On the plus side, because the cruise was all in the EU and we were able to use our cell phone in port, and that was good, but we had few sea days. So I think for the internet on board, I think my vote is 3 out of 5. So what's your vote, Rick?
Yeah, you know what? Speed-wise, it was fine. I mean, it wasn't as fast as other ships, but I mean, it was okay. But in terms of value-wise, it's like a 0. I mean, it's like 10 years ago expensive. Costa, come on, like, get with the program here. My vote here is a 3 out of 5. Okay, so our next topic for the Costa Luminosa Cruise review is the Costa App itself. Now, the Costa App is the mobile portal on Costa ships, and in theory, it allows passengers to do a bunch of things. In our opinion, it's a little buggy at best. Also, no one seems to know anything about it on the ship. They tell you, go to the photo area for help. But if you go there, what do they say? Well, I don't know. Still, it's useful to be able to check the itinerary, the daily activities, the daily spending, which is really important. And of course, to check the restaurant's menu. Another feature is the agenda for excursions and events. This part is very buggy and rarely works. And what did not work was the possibility to book excursions using the app. We tried a few times, and it always crashed at the time of checkout. The app also has a messaging feature that allows passengers to talk to each other. Unfortunately, this feature doesn't have push notifications, or at least it didn't work for us. So it's kind of useless unless you sit there refreshing the app 24 hours a day, and who's going to do that? Now, we have been on other cruise lines, and I have to say, their app was not much better. So in conclusion, the Costa app is not the worst, it's not the best. They're all about the same, and for that reason, I give it a 3 anchors out of 5. Andrea, what do you think?
Yeah, you're right. The app is just mediocre at best, but it's comparable to any other app we tried. So, yeah, me too. I give it 3 out of 5. And now we move to our next topic of our Costa Luminosa Cruise review, which is the overall feeling on board. One thing that we noticed on board the Costa Luminosa was the fact that the crew, every crew member, were quite happy.
Yeah.
It was really nice to see that the staff appeared to be generally happy and willing to help you with passion, with really passion.
And they made you feel at home.
Exactly.
Right?
We mentioned this several times to the officer on board because it was really nice and made us feel like extremely happy to see that all these people were happy. Another thing we noticed that was completely different from our last cruise on the Costa Diadema was the fact that the officers were around all the time.
Yeah.
We were able to talk to the hotel manager a few times. We were able to talk to the captain and several other officers. And we really like that. It makes us feel more like part of the family.
Yeah, maybe it had to do with relaxing protocols.
I think so. So for this reason, the feeling on board, I think, is a solid 5 out of 5, Costa. We did really well on that. What's the vote, Rick?
Yeah, have to say, everyone was really nice, easy to talk to. 5 out of 5 for you guys as well. All right, so moving on to our next aspect of the Costa Luminosa cruise review is the disembarkation. On this particular cruise, now, we were in no rush to disembark because our train to take us home left at noon. So for that reason, we hoped to stay on board as long as we could. And we were pleasantly surprised to find out that there was a dedicated area, a secure area, to leave our bags in the ship. And guess where?
At the casino.
Well, it's a pretty secure place, right, with all the money. And doing so allowed us to stay on board. We got to enjoy breakfast, walk around the ship, have some time relaxing by the pool. I wanted to go back to the spa, but anyway. When we were ready to disembark, the process was also incredibly quick and efficient. And of course, we just took our handbags, right? For this reason, my vote for disembarkation is a solid 5 out of 5. Andrea, what do you think?
Well, I do give a 5 out of 5 for disembarkation as well. The process was very, very efficient. And being able to leave the bag there and enjoy a couple of hours on board was our next topic, is not really part of the review, but it's something that we think it's worth mentioning. Quirkiness.
Oh, yes.
So, we noticed some rules on board of the Costa Luminosa that did not make much sense. And here are a few of them.
Yeah, I think I'm going to call it bizarre.
I know, they're bizarre. Here's the first bizarre thing. At the buffet, you cannot order sparkling water as you can order everywhere else. You have to leave the buffet, go to the one bar at the adjacent to the buffet, get the sparkling water, and come back. Okay, but say you want to skip a step and bring your food outside to the aft pool. Not allowed.
Nope.
So, we were able to eat inside without a mask, but not an hour outside with plenty of air. Pretty strange, don't you think?
Yes, like, that makes no sense. Another very bizarre thing is the fact that both at the buffet and the main dining room, you can get coffee with breakfast, like duh, right? But not at lunch and not at dinner.
No.
At lunch and dinner, they want you to leave and go to a different bar to get coffee. Also, it was quite strange that they have a pizza restaurant at dinner time, but not at lunch.
No pizza anywhere.
There's no... Now, do you want to talk about Archipelago?
Okay.
Sure.
So now remember, before we're talking about Archipelago, the specialty restaurant, well, another very strange rule was the fact that Archipelago you were not able to substitute anything. The menu was written in stone. You get what they give you, no exception. For example, I don't eat seafood, no seafood.
No.
And the menu were very seafood oriented. So we could not change, for example, one of the main from one menu to another menu. No.
Nothing.
That's it. For that reason, we end up not going there. Imagine that there was a table of 6 or 8, and one is vegetarian, or gluten-free, or
On a diet?
on a diet, or as an intolerance.
Yeah.
No substitution.
Nothing.
And they want nothing.
And they want us to pay.
And they want us to pay. So it's like really strange. Now, you might think, what about in the main dining room where it's free to eat? Well, they're more than happy to bend over backward to help you and do substitution. But Archipelago, which is kind of expensive, no. So I think it's a very big mistake. Yeah. But
what do we know, right?
Strange.
All right, so lastly, I was talking about bizarre things at the spa. The indoor activities were almost all open, but the outdoor solarium for spa clients was closed because of COVID. According to this rule, it's safer to be in the sauna than outside tanning. Not only that, the sauna was open, but not the steam room. I don't get it. I mean, we know these quirks were just minor details, but, we had to giggle. They're strange. I'm sure there's a reason for it. Hey, what the heck? So what do we think? We're putting it all together.
So in conclusion, we had a fantastic time on board of the Costa Luminosa. Overall, our review is very, very positive. There are some areas that need some improvement. Excursion.
Yeah.
In particular, the decor
It's okay.
Needs some, and the entertainment team.
Yeah, we want Marco back.
Yeah, we want Marco back. Marco's awesome. Marco, be on our next cruise. Other than that, food was sublime, the service was excellent, the ship was superb, clean, and everyone on board was generally happy. So we look forward to being on Costa again, and very soon.
That's right.
Thank you for watching, and see you on our next video.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.